Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me once again for another book review. And I decided to take you to this beautiful location so that you could have a change in scenery. Let's go ahead and get to this book review. The book is called The Peacock Summer by Hannah Richell. I do not have the physical copy of the book, but I will attach a copy of the cover to this video so that you will know what that looks like. I had to return the book to the library, so I did not make this video before I did that, obviously. But let's go ahead and get right on into it. So, this book involves the character Maggie, and she was off living her life when she got a call about her grandmother, Lillian. Maggie traveled from Sydney back to London where Lillian had been hospitalized. This story switches between the past and the present. The past is primarily about Lillian in her younger years from the time she met Charles forward. It focuses on the summer where the painter Jack was solicited to be a guest at Charles and Lillian's home so that he could transform a room within the estate. Lillian mentally relived this time where she was married to Charles and is the stepmother to Charles's son, Albie. Lillian remembers the good and bad times during that time period of her life as if she is transported back in time. Now, Lillian reflects on her life and the decisions that she has made. Were they the right ones? Well, you'll have to read the book and determine that. Now, the present involves Maggie returning after years away to find the home in a state of deterioration. Maggie is faced with the fallout of her abrupt departure from the town and her ex. Maggie has to figure out how to make amends if she can with her ex and his family that she was once so close with. Will she be able to rectify the betrayal and hurt she caused? You'll have to read the book to find out. Now, Maggie also has to navigate all the things going wrong with the estate and caring for Lillian once she is released from the hospital. There is a mountain of debt and little money to cover the current expenses. The home is in need of costly repairs. Will Maggie be able to keep her word of Lillian being able to remain in the home or not? Maggie also travels down memory lane, coming back to the estate and the community, also remembering how she came to be there in the first place all those years ago. Maggie has to come to terms with the actions of her father, Albie, and her mother, although she may not understand the full story. Now, Albie has lived a wanderer's life. He is depicted as a substance abuser, restless, reckless, wily, irresponsible, and an absent father. Albie has issues that Lillian is aware of, and she has kind of made excuses for his behaviors over the years. Some would say that Lillian has been an enabler to a degree. Well, Abby has a secret she's held on to where the guilt has been gnawing at him for all these years. And to some degree, Albie has been running from taking responsibility for his actions. Then there is Charles, that we get acquainted with, who is Lillian's husband. He was wealthy and had been timing in the beginning. However, that didn't seem to last long after nuptials concluded. It was described that Lillian was a chained and caged bird while Charles was alive. Charles was a crude man. He could be abusive, and he was a collector of pretty things. Charles coveted his wealth and standing in society. He was very used to getting his way at all costs, He was not the best father, Albie, and certainly not the best husband to Lillian. And things kind of took a change when Charles had a medical situation occur. But we get to relive that period of time through Lillian's perspective. This story is wonderfully written, and you will have various feelings and emotions while reading it. There will be parts that definitely have you in your feelings. There is some domestic abuse, child abuse, sexual content, violence, depiction of miscarriage, and abortion mentioned. You will get to see some of the inner workings of the characters and why they made the decisions that they made. Whether you agree or disagree with it, it could cause some um, feelings. So this story is really all about the relaying of the summer. Beautiful in some respects and tragic in others. And you will have to read the book to find out all of those details of how the inner workings of this summer played out in the mind of Lillian, and how it had an effect on the present and the future. I did wish also provided discussion questions for this book. It would have allowed us to maybe get a better understanding of which direction the author wanted us to digest this information. I guess leaving it open, it kind of gives you the freedom to kind of develop your own insight or takeaways from the reading. There are a variety of ways you could digest this story. It could be a love story. It could be a story of redemption. It could be a story of forgiveness. It could be a story of tragedy. It just all depends on how you choose to look at it. One thing that came to mind while reading the story was that what a heavy weight it must be to have so many people's faith attached to the decisions you make. William could be looked at as a martyr, a hero, or some people might look at her as being weak. Again, it all depends on how you choose to take away the information. Some topics of discussion could be a child's perspective of adult relationships pertaining to how Maggie saw Lillian and Charles' relationship as a child, and then the kind of revelation in that regard as he became an adult. You could talk about how abandonment and abuse during childhood can affect the person in adulthood. You could talk about reasons one may have an abortion and consider if the circumstances in this story was an acceptable reason, why or why not. You could converse about physical abuse by a partner. Why would one stay in that situation considering the time period in which it was mentioned in this story? If you were in Lillian's situation, would you make the same decision? Why or why not? When you get to a certain age, do you really mentally relive your life experiences? You could also talk about, does love last through time and circumstances? You could converse about, would you attempt to restore the estate or sell it? Why or why not? Well, these are some conversation points to get the discussion going. I am sure if you read the book, you can come up with more. You can keep your discussion surface level, or you could take a deeper, in-depth dive. Now, Goodreads has this book under the genre of British literature, historical, romance, and mystery. Surprisingly, Libby had no search results for this book, so that kind of put me off guard. Usually Libby is pretty up on it. So did leave out quite a bit of the story so that you can have some surprises when you're reading it for yourself. I hope I gave enough info to pique your interest so you will pick it up and read it for yourself. I did enjoy the story. It did give some food for thought and good conversation topics if you choose to, like I said, take a deeper dive or remain surface level. I'm glad for the split between the past and the present. Both had sensitive, thought-provoking moments. As I said, you will more than likely be in your feelings on some parts of this story. I will admit I did shed a few tears while reading those books, but things are going to be affect you sometimes. So it does give you a range of emotion. It does put that between past and present. The author did a good job with describing the events so you could have a vivid picture in your mind while reading this story. I definitely love the addition of the peacock. I could just imagine having a large enough space to where peacocks could roam in the yard. Like that has to be some grandeur level of living, but picturing it in my mind, yeah, it was beautiful. But again, you have to read the book to figure out where these people come into play. I did give this book a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I liked the characters. I liked the storyline. I did view the story coming from the perspective of romance. There was a bit of tragedy and drama, but I definitely preferred to take the more positive perspective of this reading. If you haven't read the book, go ahead and get it. Tell me what your thoughts are. If you have already read the book, go ahead and comment your thoughts as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the view. I know I'm outside, so hope you heard everything that I said. I hope the view is pleasing, and I hope you check back in for future reviews. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe, like, and share button. And that's all for this one. And as always, until next time, keep turning the pages, my book lovers.